Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, as you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we are relaxing as per usual. A D&D session today. It doesn't start at 7:30, which is why I'm recording now. Otherwise it'd probably be a little below, cutting it a bit close. I'm not extremely sure what's happening with this session, but I guess it's something which will be found out. So yeah, what else to say? But hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, 6:39 PM on Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. Today's also Raymond's birthday, but like for realsies, Raymond's birthday. Yeah. So I don't know what to say. D&D, I'm just sort of like, I don't know. Like, part of me is like, I don't know if I've done enough preparation, but I'm also like, even though I'm not 100% sure what their plan is while they're around here. So sort of just like maybe that's something which my pockets are too full. I also got to figure out at the same time, but I'm like, that's also kind of difficult. But mainly the difficulty lies in the fact that they're basically in a new area, and I'm not entirely sure what their plan is in this area. Because it was it was very much like a sort of side path investigation that they are possibly doing. But I thought of something at least, which, you know, again, it's something which is difficult to say as a DM, because I'm like, I don't want to solidify it and write it down in stone, because I don't know if that's actually what they want to do. So I have the potential here for this thing to be like the way that goes forward. But if they don't choose that, then I'm like, okay, well then I wouldn't have invested a ridiculous amount of time in. I'm pretty sure this one is going to be a battle more so than anything else. This will likely be a which, oh gosh, I really hope that previous me has done for combat. Okay, I have prepared for combat. Phew. That's something which I'm just like, could have been bad if I didn't otherwise. Because I'm pretty sure that is what the main thing that will be happening today is. And if it's not, then, well, I mean, so be it. But yeah, I don't necessarily know what the combat will be like or anything, nor do I exactly know what their overall goal is. Like, I know kind of like what the long stretch goal is, but I'm like, I don't really know how you intend on doing this. I have like an overarching goal of what could be a feasible way to go about this, and I have a motivation, I suppose, in a real like grand scheme of things, but whether that will come to pass, I don't really know. Anyway, what else is going on? Somehow I've started getting Discord notifications on my phone again. If you're following me from before, I kept complaining because I was like, I was saying this to a lot of my friends, being like, I don't get Discord notifications anymore on my new phone. I don't know why, and it seemed to be a Discord issue. But then suddenly, just today, but literally this afternoon, I got a vibration on my phone and I checked it and I was like, whoa, it's a Discord message. How did that happen? Because every other time previously, it was my old phone which would sometimes get the Discord messages. Now I know the thing where for some reason the Discord won't give you a notification if you're active on your computer or something, but then not on your phone. And there's no way to like configure it to be like always give me a notification, no matter what. I understand the reasoning, but at the same time I'm like, I would like you to give me a notification, even if it's like, oh, because otherwise you need to be like inactive for like 20-30 minutes or something before it actually starts giving them. It's not the worst thing in the world, of course, but it's just more like, because I have OBS open a lot of the time, like Discord often won't give me a notification because I can't see it with OBS open. So that's why I was like, I'd much rather get it to my phone, and then from there we can see things a bit more clearly. Okay, 9 acorns, actually quite a lot. But it's been ages since we actually visited Cornwall, so about time that we cleared out our inventory. But what should we talk about? I don't know. Did I get any more Saiyan Sky runs down? I didn't get any more inheritance ones down, and I'm throwing in the towel of trying to do it without a stamina card. I need to bring a stamina card for her career. I could not make it work. I could not, in the end. Whoa. I mean, I did get my first run. I did actually somehow beat it, but it only got 800 speed. Despite it also got groundwork 3 greens and mile S. So it would have been really good had I got much higher stats on it. But I'm just like, okay, you know what? Fine. Super Creek, you're coming back in to the squad. Just so I can actually build Satan's Sky properly. But yeah, it's an interesting time. Apparently there are a lot of quality of life updates that will come in the future to help build Sparks and Parents, which I'm excited for, because right now I'm just sort of like, how much time have people managed to put in to be able to get things like 9 Spark Mile Parents with groundwork? I'm like, what on earth? How did you do this? It just takes so long. Obviously, the answer is a bit of luck and a bit of grit and determination, but at the same time, I'm just like, it's rather exhausting, I would have thought, to do so, but your mileage may vary. Anyway, what are we going to talk about? Good question. I don't really know. I'm just trying to think of something which I want to sort of talk about today. I'm not really sure. Sorry, bit of a yawn. Yeah, I'm not sure. I got some messages to some friends which I need to reply to, but at the same time I haven't done that. Mainly because I was trying to think of something to say. Anything crazy happening? I don't think so. I'll talk more about D&D prep stuff, but I'm also like, I'm not entirely sure that is going on. Here you go. What do we get you? Probably some fruits. Season 2 official trailer apparently for... Oh! I wanted to talk about the Hasbin Hotel. The Homestuck pilot, which came out. Excuse me, because if you don't know, I'm a pretty big Homestuck fan. I loved it growing up. I loved reading all about it. Still to this day, I love it for its world building concepts it has. It's such a fantastically fun idea for like a... Excuse me. Like a young adult novel, essentially being like, oh, you and your friends get superpowers and there's challenges along the way. Chock full of drama, tension, all that good stuff. Oh my gosh. At the same time, it's sort of like, you know, is it something which can really translate to an animated form? And while my heart of hearts is like, yes, I want to do so badly, so much of Homestuck is basically just chat logs, essentially, because I mean, that's the medium it was in. It was done through like infrequent photos and then like really long chat logs through the entire thing. Will that translate well? I don't know. I'm sure there are ways to do it, and I will say that at least the pilot's demonstration of how they would portray the chat logs is really quite fun, I would say. It's super cool to see. They basically have the characters sort of like interacting in like a meta way with the Division on the screen, like the split screen as well, or the pop-up boxes as well, to sort of really emote the characters' animations and that sort of thing. It's really cool, I would say. But I will say, if you don't know anything about Homestuck and you watch that pilot, I don't think any of your questions will be answered. Because I watched it and I was like, while you can get the basis of what's happening in this pilot, being like, oh, the kid's trying to get his game, it looks like there's some like weird meteor shower happening and it's about sort of like friends talking to each other, which is kind of true. But the pilot doesn't really get too much into the actual sort of core concept of whatever's going on, and after I watched it I was extremely confused. I was like, what? Not like by the plot, because I knew the plot, but I was like, I'm surprised that's how they chose to demonstrate it. But apparently this pilot is, rather than being like an episode 1 pilot, it's more like a proof of concept pilot, being like, this is what could happen. Because I was also very surprised. I was like, whoa, I'm surprised the trolls are in this whatsoever, because the trolls don't get introduced till very late on, or much later on I should say, in Homestuck, probably like halfway through or something. And they don't even touch upon what Spurb actually is apart from the game. So from my perspective watching it, I was like, if you don't know what Homestuck is and you watch it, you probably have essentially no concept of what is going on after watching it. But I spoke with my friend, and they know at least the general gist of Homestuck and watched it, and they were like, yeah, they could kind of follow along. Well, as I understand, they basically could follow along, and I was like, okay, you know what, fair enough, what do I know? It just struck me as like an interesting way to demonstrate it, perhaps. I'm not going to necessarily say it was a bad way to demonstrate it. It was just, I was surprised, if anything, because I was like, it feels quite difficult to pass like this. Anywho. What else was I going to say about it? I'm so excited for it. Like, I hope it is something which can turn into a full series, even if it's just like Act 1, or it doesn't even get all the way to Act 5, because I think that's going to be rather difficult to do so, IMO, to get all the way to Act 5. But, you know, maybe I'll be proven wrong. Maybe it'll be super easy, barely an inconvenience, in the infamous words of Ryan George. But it is the pilot that I was genuinely excited for, to see sort of come to fruition and come to pass, because I think it'd be cool. To see it happen, essentially, to see what they do with it and how it comes about. Because I mean, like, what's I got to say about it? It's, if you haven't read Homestuck, I would recommend it in the sense where I'm like, I think it's a good read, but also at the same time, I'm like, it's a very brutal read with how like long, I suppose, everything is. Oh, I didn't even win Uma finals. So I'm doing Uma Musume at the same time. My entire point of doing the Stay in Sky run was to win the Tensho Spring and then also win Uma finals, but apparently I didn't even win Uma finals. How? I'm shocked. It's not even that bad a run. 900 speed, 600 stamina? That should be enough to win Uma finals. What? Apparently I just can't win with Stay in Sky. Well, alright then, I guess. Maybe she ran out of stamina? Because if you didn't know, in Recruit you get a plus 400 bonus secret stats to what I was going on. Whatever, I was doing this mainly for the event points. I'm just sort of surprised. Yeah, what else to say? Yeah. So, like, what else did I want to even say about that? About the pilot? I don't know, I felt I was surprisingly delighted, I suppose, with it happening. Did the voices match up exactly to how I pictured the voices in my head? No, not quite, but they were close enough, which I think it works out quite well. I mean, John's voice, if you didn't know, is also Toby Fox, the creator of Undertale, which is wild to say. I think lined up pretty well. I think Rose was a little different from what I expected, but like along the same, like it gave the same energy, so I was just like, that's basically completely fine. I think Davis was actually quite different from what I expected, but I was like, you know, I can kind of jive with it. And Jade's was basically spot on with what I expected. So that's the thing which I'm most interested about, which I think a lot of people, especially when they read books made into movies and that sort of thing, find the most excitement from, is being like, how well do they adapt what I imagine it to be like, you know? I totally get it now, after reading Homestuck and being like, I want to see exactly how Homestuck is brought to life, like, what voices do they use, what, you know, directions do they choose, or animations, or etc, etc, etc. It's fascinatingly fun to try and see and understand what they're going to do. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. That's what makes it all the more exciting, I think. Yeah. What else of a Homestuck pilot was notable? Yeah, I think that's actually, that would have been a good conversation topic if I didn't already spend 40 minutes basically saying nothing. Is that concept of things being brought to life and being like, how is this portrayed? Or how does this compare to how it was portrayed in your mind? Because it can be very different, you know? You might not be the only one who looks at it and goes like, oh, you know, I expected something in XYZ fashion. Because at the very least, me, watching it was excited to see this. Excited to see how they translated it. And I really want to hear what the trolls sound like. Because they're ones that I feel like I have pretty distinctive imaginations in my mind. My wonder is if they got that guy who was known for dubbing basically the Fanon voice for Eridan. Where he goes, yeah, well, whatever. That sort of thing. I want to see if they match something like that, because I feel like almost every other voice will be something where I could be like, yeah, you know, it doesn't really matter to me in the end. But I really want Eridan's voice to sound like that. Because that to me is like the canonical Eridan's voice. He's probably not even going to be like that big a character at all within, if it does get an animated series, except for, you know, a certain episode perhaps in the future. But because otherwise he's one of the more, not completely forgettable, but he's definitely one of the more of a sidelined sort of, I was gonna say creatures, that's the wrong word, one of the more sidelined sort of trolls, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. I think that just is how it is, you know. Yes. So, what else to say? I think that's kind of it. I think otherwise I'm straight up chilling, you know. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it may or may not be the result of this Homestuck business. I don't know why I'm saying it like this. I don't know, something's wrong with my brain right now. My brain is shutting down in a major way. But yeah, I think I'll wrap this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons, and I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now it's our farewell. So until next time. Okay, bye bye for now. My brain is like, what?